Coffee is our civilization's socially accepted performance drug. I know it. You know it. It is an official drug of capitalism. Non-coffee drinkers walk out of sync with the collective heartbeat. They never signed that contract. That's a one damn lonely path, but well worth it. Neurologically, caffeine works by blocking adenosine, the molecule that makes you feel sleepy. The brain translates this blockade as an emergency, releases adrenaline, and you feel awake. But as we all know, what you borrow must be repaid. People who avoid coffee learn that every borrowed high carries an interest rate. Their mornings unfold without the theatrical panic of the caffeine rush. They don't chase the first jolt of motivation. They let the day grow into them, slowly, like light through a window. This patience reveals a psychological immunity to the collective anxiety that caffeine so conveniently disguises. And that's why these people are so badass. People who don't drink coffee often confuse the world because they seem to operate on a completely different kind of electricity. Their mornings have no ceremonial sip. They just start, with the quiet logic of a body that remembers how to wake up on its own. And that simple act, waking without aid, is in psychological to collective narrative. To understand the psychology of non-drinkers, you have to see them as outliers in an overstimulated culture. They're not necessarily saints of purity or health freaks. They're people who realize that the natural tempo works better when unamplified. There's something almost artistic in the way non-coffee people live. They allow the slowness of mornings to unfold like a prelude instead of a race. They might sit by a window, think, stretch, or simply stare into space. Acts that, to the caffeine-fueled observer, seem inefficient, even indulgent. But the non-drinker sees this not as wasted time, but as psychological breathing space. It's how they meet themselves before the world interferes. They tend to have a high tolerance for stillness. It's as if they understand that the mind, when not forced into acceleration, rearranges itself more truthfully. In fancy therapy terms, these individuals often score higher on self-soothing capacity, the ability to regulate energy and emotion internally rather than externally. They don't reach for a cup to alter their chemistry, they recalibrate from within. This speaks to a subtle confidence in their body's competence. Where others mistrust their natural alertness, the non-drinker lets it unfold, trusting that focus will emerge organically. To not drink coffee is to question the idea that life must always feel on. It's a small act of rebellion against the cult of perpetual readiness. Psychologically, it reflects what the psychoanalyst Adam Phillips called the virtue of being unprepared. The non-drinker doesn't panic in moments of low energy. They let the slowness happen, understanding that restoration requires valleys, not constant peaks. On a deeper level, this kind of mind tends to value purity of perception over speed of response. The world without caffeine feels slower but more saturated. They don't need to crank up consciousness because they never dulled it with overstimulation to begin with. They're often the calmest people in the room during collective chaos. They don't swing between highs and crashes. They don't depend on the mid-afternoon shot to feel human again. They're steady, unglamorous, but strangely magnetic. The psychological equivalent of good soil, fertile, quiet, and alive. Caffeine is a socially condoned anxiety. It's arousal marketed as ambition. It speeds the pulse, sharpens attention, and in doing so, mimics aliveness. But those who abstain from it often seem suspicious of this counterfeit alertness. They prefer to face the raw texture of their mood without smoothing it with chemistry. They know the difference between feeling awake and being alive. In personality studies, coffee abstainers often rank higher in self-regulation and low novelty seeking. They're less interested in quick sensory rewards, more drawn to long-form focus or inner stability. They also tend to have stronger internal locus of control, the belief that energy and drive come from within, not from external inputs. It's a quiet confidence that says, "My mind is enough fuel." You'll notice that these people rarely use words like grind, hustle, or energy boost. They don't believe that exhaustion should be conquered. They believe it should be understood. This reflects what many modern researchers call homeostatic orientation, the preference for equilibrium rather than stimulation. While most of us seek peaks of alertness, they seek consistent presence. It's the difference between running on fuel and glowing from within. Coffee is a bonding ritual. The "let's grab a coffee" phrase is modern shorthand for connection. Non-coffee drinkers often have to navigate that social choreography differently. They still meet, talk, and connect, but they do it without the cup. To not drink coffee is to practice a subtle kind of sovereignty over one's energy. They are close cousins of non-smokers. Both groups cultivate internal regulation. Non-smokers avoid external stimulation that hijacks attention or mood. Coffee abstainers avoid the same, even if the immediate effects differ. Both develop awareness of bodily rhythms and emotional states because they cannot outsource energy or calm to a substance. Where smokers and coffee drinkers rely on chemical cues to manage arousal or reward, their abstaining cousins learn self-generated strategies: pacing, movement, structured focus, and mindful engagement. Behaviorally, abstainers also share social tension. Both non-smokers and non-coffee drinkers navigate environments that celebrate ritualized indulgence, coffee breaks or smoke breaks. For those who abstain, whether because caffeine triggers anxiety or fails to lift the fog, the world appears different. Non-drinkers notice the theatricality, the desperation, the chemical treadmill that others accept as inevitability. Well, what can I say? Truly, some of the calmest, most lucid people you meet will tell you they used to live on caffeine until they realize that peace is a higher voltage than energy. All we peasants are left with is to sip our coffee to have enough energy to be amazed by these new breed of people.